Joining me is a very special guest. He's Canadian actor Curtis Lum, and he's here today to talk about his successful acting career and how he stays healthy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you look fit. So how do you stay...
Okay, fine. You can touch it.
Okay, I did. So how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? Because you travel a lot. You know, you have a busy acting career.
Well, it's it takes a little bit of a balance of, you know, crazy and just pure, you know, determination and resilience. It's definitely difficult when it comes to, like, I'm pretty busy, and that's the most difficult thing for me, is to find ways, find time to cook and stuff like that. It's difficult. So, you know, for me, actually, I need to eat healthier, and I need to keep a balanced, you know, meal cycle in order just to stay sane and active. So that's really what drives me. It's the aesthetics and all that is kind of secondary to that, to just the mental aspect of it. But you know, it's definitely tough. But you know, like anything that's worth having, you know, it requires a lot of discipline and work, and yeah.
Because you don't have a typical lifestyle. You're always taking on, you're busy, and but do you buy your own food, your groceries, or how does...
Whenever time permits,
yes.
You know, I try to you know, make my own snacks and at least a meal a day sort of thing. But because it's not that I'm lazy, it's just I don't. By the time I come home at night, there's just no way I'm cooking anything. So I've perfected the Whole Foods hot bar. I've perfected what $10 feels like in weight in a box. So that's how I justify it. I'm like, okay, $10 a day or $20 a day is doable, you know, for a nice, balanced, healthy meal.
Do you have a favorite dish, Curtis?
A favorite dish?
Yes.
As in the one that I would eat every day, or just of all time?
Of all time.
Oh, you put me on the spot. Of all time, Peking duck.
Oh, okay.
Chinese Peking duck. I'm a huge fan of burgers, pizza, pasta. I love Italian food. Yeah.
Well, that's great, and encourage you to drink lots of water too, because you know you need to keep, you know, when you're acting, is resetting your roles. Like,
I thought you were gonna say, and you drink a lot, don't you? I was like, you know.
Water, H2O.
Yeah, sure.
That's good. And but do you do weights and such? And
I try to. When it's for, you know, preparation for a role or something like that, that's when I can really zero in and get focused and have a proper regimen. Otherwise, I try to just maintain as much as I can. You know?
Right. And the reason I ask is because I've seen you in some roles, and you know, you're doing your own stunts. So you had to be fit. Like, it's...
Yeah. I try to do as much of my own stunts as I can. I do have a great, I guess, network of stunt people that have doubled for me before that are all brilliant, and you know, my hat definitely goes off to them. But I'd like to be in a, you know, at least in a position where I can do my own stunts. Like, I've done enough of it where I think I'm capable of knowing what's going on, and plus I can act on top of that. So overall, it brings together like a really great overall performance.
Right.
But yeah, I think especially with stunts, like stretching is a big deal. Keeping active and all that, but just making sure that everything's working properly. That's the biggest one. As we get older, you know, as we know, things start to go, and so it's really about up here to just making sure that you're confident in knowing what you're doing, and taking the time to learn all this, you know, the choreography and all that kind of stuff. Because when I was younger, I'd rush into everything and I'd hurt myself left, right, and center, you know. So
yeah, meditation is really important too.
Yeah.
Because what I was going to say too is that it's sort of, you can cross over, you know, acting and doing some of your stunts, as you're saying, and that's really, really great to have. And I want to say congratulations on your role in Siren.
Thank you so much.
And it's it's about an evil mermaid, right? You caught it and you played the part as Kelvin?
Yeah, well, it's not so much that she's an evil mermaid. I mean, they just are. You know what I mean? Like, they're coming onto land, and they're considered top level predators where they come from in their world, and they're coming to land basically because of us as humans and what we're doing to the ocean. We're overfishing, we're populating or polluting the ocean, things like that. So for many different factors, they're now coming to land, and that's kind of where our show takes place. We explore a world where mermaids can exist, and them coming on the land. And I play one of the fishermen that catches the first mermaid. And
how was it?
Everything you'd imagine it to be. Thankfully on the show we deal with a lot of there isn't too much CGI or green screening, so we're not having to react off of like a tennis ball or something like that. We actually get to play off of the real actors, so that makes it a lot easier. We're actually out there on the water, on the boat, shooting all of these sequences, so that helps as well. But there's been nothing like it so far in my career. This has been definitely top tier experience for me.
It's wonderful. And the day that you got the role, what did you do?
I remember getting the call, and I think I was at Costco buying groceries and things for my restaurant, and I got the call, and I just kind of it was like the reception was really bad, so I was like, huh, hello, what? I got the what? What? And after 5 minutes, finally, you got the part. And I remember being stoked, being like in a Costco aisle, kind of like yelling to myself, and people looking at me funny. And then I ended up buying some gift baskets and stuff like that for a few different people. And it was exciting.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's great. And it airs when? Like on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Thursday nights, 8 p.m. In the States, it's on Freeform. Here, we get it on ABC Spark. I think it plays 8 p.m. and then 11 p.m. again here.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And how supportive is your family?
They're great.
They're
great, yeah. I think like in anything, at first when I told them that I was getting into this business, they were, a bit skeptical, but so was everybody else. So I can't peg it just on them. But when if you love something, you kind of just do whatever you can to learn about it as much as you can and try to put yourself in a position to succeed. And it was like a show and prove type of situation for me, where I constantly kept on having to prove to them that I was able to do this, and for them to take me seriously doing it. And now they're, my mom and dad they're like two of my biggest fans.
Well, that's great.
And I always hear about it outside, like, they're supportive, in person, but like, I'll be at like a convenience store or grocery store, and then the cash register will be like, hey, like your mom or dad told me about this show, like, I'm watching it now, you're great, and like your parents are your biggest fans. And so I always hear from a third party of their support, which is kind of lovely as well, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, and you do feel like you sometimes have to pinch yourself, hey, I'm here, because when you started in the acting business, tell me your first role. My first role?
Yes. I got really lucky. Have you ever read The Alchemist? Paulo Coelho?
I'm vaguely familiar.
Okay. Well, one of the themes in it is like they deal with like beginner's luck. You know what I mean? And I definitely had the beginner's luck where. So I was training. I started acting. I started taking acting classes and stuff like that. I told my parents I was in school, but I didn't tell them for what. And so I'd cheekishly sneak off into this acting class once or twice a week. And thankfully, I booked my first role like within the first year of acting. It was for a show called Renegade Press.
Yes.
It's like a Canadian teen drama. And I remember my first scene I ever shot was a sex scene. Like my first day on set, my first on-set experience. it was getting down and dirty, right to it. So that was,
you adapted, right?
Yeah, that's the best way to just jump right in. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Be all sorts of uncomfortable.
Play the character, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Because you've gone. Well, you played superhero and drama. And tell us about Agent Demos and Supergirl.
Agent Demos. He is an agent at the DEO, the Department of External Operations, in the Superman universe. And I work with her sister Agent Danvers, John Jones, Wynn, and we, essentially keep the Earth safe from alien activity.
And you've been successful so far.
Every episode brings a different set of challenges and complications, but we, I'd like to think that we always prevail.
Yes.
And it's always exciting. There's never a dull moment in the DEO.
Do you love it, like working on the set? Like, how exciting is it?
I love it. It's I've been very fortunate. Like, it's one of those shows, and just like Siren, it's one of those shows where, it's one thing to be working. It's a whole other thing to be working on a show with cast that you love, crew that you love, with the writing team and producing team that are also fabulous from top to bottom. So, and then for me, I get to do all this cool action stuff that, I've only dreamt about since I was a kid.
And this dream has come true. And tell us what you like most about acting.
What I like most about it? I'm starting to see different shades of it now, which is really cool. But, I had to, for me, it was always just about entertaining. And I just loved entertaining and getting a reaction out of people. Then it became, my first 5 years doing this, I really wasn't working. So I had to really find other ways to love about it. And then that's when I dug deeper into building on my foundation of like training and stuff like that. So then I just loved the performing and playing these different characters. Now it's become something that I love because it's not anything that you can ever really master. It's it's a perpetual, like, ongoing thing that is always going to be fluid. It's always going to be changing, and so it's a constant challenge. You know what I mean? For me to stay on top of my game, stay sharp, stay, ready for whatever is to come. And then seeing the fans now, that has been a whole complete other aspect that I've never experienced before, where, especially now with TV, right? We get such an instant reaction.
Yes.
Show airs, night of, you have all the fans taking it to Twitter, taking it to Instagram, letting you know how they feel about your performance and stuff like that. So now it's been cool to see, especially working on a sci-fi show, seeing the level of support and love for these characters and what they represent and what they mean to the fans. Yes. You never know, like I experienced this once when I went to my first film festival. I brought a film to it was in Eugene, Oregon. It was a movie that I produced and that I starred in, and someone came up to me after the film and told me, like, that film was everything he needed to see in that moment. He was considering, suicide, and he was really in a really dark place, and then that film kind of helped him get over that fear or that feeling. And for me, being a part of a team that created something like that, there is no better feeling to know that you created something that helped someone. You know what I mean? Ultimately, or in my case, I'm playing a character that represents someone to some other person. You know what I mean? Where they can see a reflection of themselves and know that they're not alone, or that they're being represented, their story is being told. So these are all things that, like, are all encapsulated into why I love doing what I'm doing. Yeah, and it's just about inspiring other people and passing on that torch of just bringing light to people's lives. Yeah,
it's wonderful, and being at the top of your game is to get into that role, you need to focus, of course, but what else do you do? Like meditation, everything else, like?
Yeah, honestly, like I don't necessarily meditate. I don't set aside a chunk of time to meditate, but I take mini moments throughout the day. So before I eat, for instance, I take a quick second to just bless my food and put that positive energy into it, but also kind of give grace to the universe for blessing me with the opportunity to have this great food. And you know, when you add up all of those moments collectively, it allows me to keep grounded and realize, you know, it's kind of like the rubber bands too. It's for me to remember like the struggle of where I've come, or how far I've come, where I came from, where I want to go, but where I'm at right now in the present. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that kind of helps me gauge how I'm feeling, where I'm going, what I'm trying to accomplish in the day. But I can see how meditation can do wonders. A lot of my friends do meditate, or do yoga, or something therapeutic. In my case, I like working out, I like boxing, I like running.
Oh, so you're a runner. What do you do? 10K or 5K or? To be honest, I'm gonna save myself by saying I don't measure, or I don't keep track. Well, you run. And that's all that counts.
I don't have one of those apps that tell me how far I run, but for instance, I would run from here to like Stanley Park and back. So whatever that is.
Yeah, that's
5K?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And then I'll take a cab back.
Yes. Yes. I always believed that. But you know, I don't believe everything I read on the internet, but I heard, you know, you do boxing, right? You're saying, and that's a great, you know, frustration, you know.
Oh, it's
yes.
great. It's great. You know, martial arts in general is
is
the ultimate. I think it's the ultimate balance of the yin and yang, where it's a system built entirely based off of just being present. You know, reacting off of what's being given to you, and I think that translates to film as well.
Wonderful.
Especially acting. You know, you're acting and reacting, and you're listening, and you know what I mean. So it's a great practice outside of my practice for acting.
Yes.
For me as well.
And running helps you. Well, at least it calms you, right?
Yeah, just to turn your brain off and just that's my form of meditation. Seriously.
That's great.
Yeah.
See. We had to keep on talking further from meditation to boxing and running.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what is next for you?
What's next for me? Well, we just got picked up for a second season for Siren.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So we'll see what unfolds there. My writing team and producing team that I work with, we're developing a few projects of our own currently. And then, I mean, that actually means a lot to me. Like putting out my own work, producing my own projects. You know, there's a lot of passion that lies there. So that's a huge priority of mine. And then, you know, Vancouver's so busy right now that, I mean, as you can see, I'm sure you can't go 2 blocks without seeing a production. There's a lot of new, exciting shows that are coming out. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get something exciting and keep this train going and keep the momentum going.
Chris, I want to ask you, are there any roles you'd like to do, like comedy or?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you know, one of my favorite actors of all time is Will Smith, and I think he's a great example of what I would like to become in terms of not necessarily like the massive mega superstar movie star, but like in terms of when you look at his resume, he's done it all. He's done very like super serious dramas. He's done like, you know, biopics. He's done obviously comedies, but he's the king of action. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I see myself. Like I love doing dramas, but I also love doing action, and I love comedies. Like if I had the choice, I prefer watching, you know, a comedy or an action comedy or something like that. So any roles that allow me to incorporate at least 2 of the 3, I'm a happy boy. So.
It'll happen.
Yeah, let's hope so.
And if people want to get in touch with you, I mean, I know we have Twitter, but what's your Twitter handle? And
on Twitter, I'm Kulu, C-U-L-U.
Okay.
And then on Instagram, I'm Handsome Lum, Hansumlum.
Great. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for watching. If you have a question or comment or would like us to cover an event, go to our website on the screen. Until next time, run with it.
Run With It is sponsored by BC Sports Hall of Fame, Hype Hair, Mallory's Fashion Network, and Skechers Performance Canada.